Hi, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Cavlin here, coming to you from Houston, Texas on Friday, March 31st, 2023. We're tracking a significant severe weather outbreak across the central part of the United States. Not much going on here in southeast Texas. Different story once you get north. All of this red shading here that indicates active tornado watches. And then within those, we've got individual thunderstorms that are either severe thunderstorm warned or tornado warned. Those are the yellow and red polygons. But the watch area itself extends 860 miles from northern Iowa all the way down into northeast Texas. So let's talk about the risk levels. On a scale of 1 to 5, we've got a level 5 on the map. That's the first time in 2 years that we've seen that pink shading, and it's the first time in 11 years that we've seen 2 areas of pink shading on the map. So a historic day, a really significant day, and we are expecting a tornado outbreak across these areas. In fact, it's already begun through parts of Arkansas. Here's future track starting at this point going through the afternoon and the evening. Storms are really going to start to fire up towards the Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa border, and then a second cluster of storms here through Arkansas will eventually lift into western portions of Tennessee. These will all start as rotating supercell thunderstorms with large damaging hail and tornadoes as the primary threat. And then as the evening goes on, all of these supercells will turn into individual lines where the primary threat then will shift to a tornado and a damaging wind threat. We could see winds in excess of 70 and 80 miles per hour once this line starts to get going later on tonight. So if you live in these areas, make sure that you have at least 2 ways to get tornado warnings. These are going to be fast-moving storms. You want to have a way to get to a sturdy shelter within 5 minutes of a warning, whether it's through a cell phone, a NOAA weather radio, TV, or radio, just radio that you listen to in your car. Outdoor tornado sirens should be the last way that you're getting warnings, just because they don't offer any specifics. But if you hear tornado sirens going off where you live, seek out additional information as fast as you can and take shelter. So where do you go? Interior room or ground level at least. If you don't have a basement, at least get to the ground floor. Once you're at the ground floor, again, it's the interior room. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from garages, because garage doors are often a weak point in a home. Once those blow in, the rest of the house becomes compromised. You want to get away from walls, away from windows, and away from doors and get to that interior room. What happens if you're in a high-rise building? Of course, again, get to that ground floor. If you can't do that, get out of the apartment and get to an interior part of the building, a stairwell, a hallway, and if there is a tornado headed right for that building, have something to protect yourself, a helmet, a bicycle helmet. I know it sounds silly, but it could save you from flying debris in this case. So again, in a high-rise building, try to get to the lower floor and try to get to the centermost part of the building. It's a significant severe weather threat that we're tracking for you today, but it's not the only one. As we look ahead to next week, the beginning of April, the active pattern continues, and some of the same areas could be under the threat for severe weather yet again.